people, and we're talking to Alana McLaughlin, who has given us some information in reference to the establishment of slavery in 1619 and ending in 1865, and the outcome, in a real sense, of the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment. And so, Alana, let's pick up where we left off during that first segment, and to have you to give us some information in reference to efforts to end the institution of slavery that ultimately led to the 13th Amendment. Who are some of the individuals and some of the ideas that played an important part with making people want to oppose slavery?
Well, some people just thought that slavery was wrong, and I am one of those people. But also some white people thought that slavery was wrong also. So, for example, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, they all thought that slavery was not a good thing, but they all tried their hardest to get rid of slavery, some more than others. As Martin Luther King said, he had a dream that one day we would all live in peace, and that one day we would all love each other. One day there would be no hatred, there would just be peace on earth. Rosa Parks had that same idea, because they all thought that, hey, why can we not be treated equally like the white people? Are they better than us? Because every person in the world is the same in God's eyes.
Okay, and so there's a real need and a real sense among all people to end the institution of slavery, and that was done by the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. I think that at one time, when we talked about some of these terrorist organizations, one of the groups that you talked about had to do with the birth of the nation. Why don't you give us some information in reference to the birth of the nation and how that fitted into slavery and et cetera?
Well, some terrorist groups, they all started because there was this movie, The Birth of a Nation, and it talks about how they treated black people unfairly, and they thought that it would just be, you know, a good idea to just treat them like they're nothing. And The Birth of a Nation really started the chaos back, because when it kind of simmered down, when that movie came out, everybody just rose up, and we were all, the black people were all, well, that's unfair because we can be treated equally because slavery is abolished. And then on the white side, they were like, you are nothing, you mean nothing to us. So The Birth of a Nation really started chaos in basically Mississippi to everywhere.
And so, what about this? The Birth of a Nation, as I understand it, was a movie. As a matter of fact, it was a movie, and it dealt with a specific organization. So what organization did this Birth of a Nation deal with?
Well, the movie, it started the third Ku Klux Klan, and it started them up because it reminded them that the former Ku Klux Klaners said that they are going to push black people back into slavery, and they are going to work till they die to make sure that black people do not have the same rights as whites.
Well, this was immediately after the war in 1865, but the organization you're talking about was long after even the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People was started. When did this organization start? What was it all about, the NAACP? Who are they concerned with?
Well, the NAACP, also known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, started in 1909, and it started out with only 32 people, and they would meet in Maryland, Baltimore, where they would discuss all the issues of black people not having their own rights, and they have to be segregated. And they have to drink over here, or eat over here, or get shoes at this place, and they weren't treated like the white people were treated, because back then white people were like majesty. They were given all the best things. They were royalty, and the black people were just, they treated them like nobodies. They treated them like they didn't exist.
And so this organization, the NAACP, started in an effort to try to sort of, I guess you would say, to sort of reinforce these ideas of the 13th, 14th,
yes,
and the 15th Amendment, to remind people that at one time that Africans were able to exercise those rights, but now, after segregation, now when you talk about segregation, what about this segregation?
Well, segregation, it really means that the white and black people can't join together and be one. It has to be either white people over here or black people over here, or just, you know, throw away the black people and just keep the white people. They thought that since the black people originated from slavery, they shouldn't have the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. They didn't want to give them the right to vote. They didn't want them to be citizens. They didn't want to give them freedom. They wanted to push them back into slavery like it was when it was abolished.
And so in a real sense, this organization is really concerned about those, what you call civil rights amendments, the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment. Do you think that many people in your class or in your age are aware of the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment to the Constitution?
No, they're not. More youth and more of the teenagers or growing people up, they need to learn that their heritage came from slavery. Every black person in this world needs to learn about their heritage, because their heritage was struggle, fighting for their lives, and fighting for their 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment.
And so it's important that people your age, 9 years old, be familiar with some of the things that happened in the past, so that they might be able to do better today. Is that what you're saying? Do you find any efforts made by other young people your age to do that, to organize and help folks?
Well, I started a club to stop bullying, because I fear that bullying really ties in with what the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, that's what they wanted. They wanted to stop bullying. They wanted to stop the white people from pressuring and fighting with the black people. They wanted to stop white kids from beating and killing the black kids. They wanted to make them one. They just wanted them to combine to make a sea full of colors, to make a world with no hate. And
so, and so those are some of the ideas that you think that are sort of current among the people of your age group. Do you speak about these kinds of things to other students often at school?
Yes, I try to encourage as many people as I can to organize things and to stop all those causes, like to stop drug use, to stop drinking, to stop basically substance abuse, or basically bullying, or suicide, homicide, or murder.
Okay, and of course, let us take a short break for this second commercial break, and we'll be back with you following this short commercial break.